I'm Harrison Graham. It was Coordinator Wednesday this week, with tomorrow being Thursday. Probably a lighter day for the coaches on Christmas Day tomorrow. So they spoke to the media today at Hall. We react to that, plus some injury updates on the Bears, including some good news on a couple of key players. We also have a George Kittle update from Kyle Shanahan that I want to dive into as well. This is Chicago Bears Now. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Dennis Allen was praising the 49ers offense earlier today, and why wouldn't he? They were fantastic against the Colts the other night and really have been good for several weeks now since Brock Purdy struggled in a win over the Panthers a little over a month ago. Here's what DA had to say about the 49ers offense. He said, in all facets of the game, they're performing at a high level. And that was certainly true the other night. At times this year, their run game has not been as efficient. They've had to lean on the passing game, whether it be Brock Purdy or Mac Jones. And Mac Jones played some good football when he had to fill in for Purdy for, 8 starts or whatever it is. Purdy has played in 7 games. Mac has played in 8. So they've gotten good production from both quarterbacks so far this year. But to DA's point, especially the other night against the Colts, I thought it was their most complete game from an offensive standpoint. Brock Purdy threw 5 touchdowns in the game as the 49ers were able to throw for 300 yards, spread the ball around to different weapons. Kittle, McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings had a big game as well. And then also they were able to run the ball. It was CMC's best game running the football as he had over 120 yards rushing. And I think that's going to be the key for the Bears, is you got to slow down Christian McCaffrey on the ground. You've got to limit his production as a runner. And you might say, oh, that's going to be difficult. And yes and no, but before this game against the Colts, the 49ers had not been that efficient running the football. Christian McCaffrey had only averaged 3.6 yards per carry coming into that game, and then in that game he averaged close to 6. But you look at the year, yeah, he's got a bunch of yards, but it's only 3.7 yards per carry. That 49ers offensive line has been pretty average, especially in run blocking, and McCaffrey has not gotten a ton of explosives this year on the ground. So if you're Dennis Allen, if you're the Bears, that's step number one, is keep Christian McCaffrey at bay. Low 4s, high 3s. Don't let him get out 4.5, 5, 5.5 yards per carry, because that's when you're in trouble, because Brock Purdy's in a big rhythm right now. He's spreading the football around, and he's playing really, really well. So if you make them one-dimensional, gives you a much better chance to get stops. Okay, Declan Doyle sounded off on the Bears' iconic game-winning touchdown against the Packers on Saturday night. He was asked about how that play kind of came to be. He said, quote, "We felt really good about that play call. I thought it would have come up earlier in the game, but it didn't, and it ended up being the perfect time." And I don't know about you guys, but I've watched the video, all the different angles. I don't know. I bet if I added it all up, I've seen that touchdown in some regard probably close to triple-digit times. I would say somewhere between 75 and 100 times I have watched that touchdown pass from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore, and I truly think it's one of the most iconic moments in the history of the Chicago Bears. You just think about what it meant for so many things. Number one, you beat your arch rival, who has absolutely dominated this rivalry for the better part of the last 30 years. You take control of the NFC North to take a game-and-a-half lead with 2 weeks to go, in a game in which you weren't playing that good to begin with. It took a big comeback in the last few minutes, an onside kick, just to even get to that moment, to get over the hump, to put yourself in, to essentially clinch a playoff spot, which became official on Sunday when the Steelers beat the Lions. It was quite the moment. It was awesome, and Ben and Caleb talked about it after the game. Declan talked about it today, how they put that play in, and you could not have executed it any better. Protection held up. Caleb slides left just enough, kind of subtle footwork, and throws an absolute perfect throw to DJ Moore for the game-winning touchdown. An awesome catch, an awesome moment, an awesome night for the Chicago Bears. Okay, Richard Hightower sounded off on the onside kick, which obviously set it all up, right? If you don't get that, at best, you get the ball back with like a minute 10 left and have to go the length of the field. But they did get the onside kick, and here's what Hightower had to say about that play. He said, Josh Blackwell practices ricochets on onside kicks like you wake up and brush your teeth every morning. Daniel Hardy got a phenomenal jump on the play. He and Noah Sewell are the keys to that play, and if you watch it closely, Noah Sewell cracks Romeo Doubs on that play, which certainly led to his inability to jump on the ball after he dropped it initially. Listen, special teams, it was a bit of a rough go early in the year, but really since the bye week, it's been really good. They've cleaned up the kickoff coverage issues that were plaguing them early in the season. Cairo Santos was awesome the other night, and obviously you got the onside kick as well. Torrey Taylor had a couple of nice punts. Special teams were a big reason why you won that game. Cairo kept you in the game with those tough kicks in those conditions. Didn't give up any explosive returns, and obviously you get the onside kick to give yourself a chance to win. Of course, there's a component of luck to onside kicks, but I think that unit in general, the last couple of months of the year, has been really, really good, and we have to give Richard Hightower credit because fans were calling for him to be fired early on in the year, and he certainly turned things around, and he's done it quickly. Subscribe to the channel. We bring you guys daily Bears news, rumors, injury updates, and a whole lot more. We, of course, go live for every single Bears football game. We'll be live this Sunday night when the Bears take on the 49ers at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. So be sure to subscribe and join us for all of that and more here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. All right, coming up, we have some great updates on the Bears injury report for 2 players, so you're going to want to stick around for that. Plus, Kyle Shanahan made a comment on George Kittle's injury status as well. Want to dive into that a little bit too. But we do have to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor first. That is Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. It is the holiday season, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's only one place where it feels good to be right. That is Prize Picks. Everyone's favorite Prize Picks holiday promotion is back. 7 days of Picksmas. Prize Mix is giving out 7 days of deals all the way through Christmas Day, including a Christmas Day max discount. Picksmas started on December 20th and is running through Christmas, so download the app today and unwrap those deals. Here's a little lineup I've got for this upcoming weekend. I took more on Caleb Williams passing yards. That number has been higher the last couple of weeks than 229.5, so I like the more there. Christian McCaffrey, half a rushing or receiving touchdown. It's a goblin play. He's been scoring a bunch. I like him to score again. And then Colson Loveland. I ran it last week. I'm going to run it back this week. I think he scores this week. He gets into the end zone. Just needs to get one touchdown. $20 lineup to win $85. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, some good injury news, great injury news, I would say, for the Chicago Bears. 2 notable players that were either hurt and did not play last week or left with injury were limited today, which is a very good sign. That being Luther Burden III, the wide receiver who missed last week with an ankle injury he suffered the week before against Cleveland. And then C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who, when it happened, that knee injury, you're like, man, his cleat got stuck in the ground, kind of non-contact-y, but he was limited. He was out there. He's not on crutches, I've been told. So that's a very, very good sign for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We kind of knew he had avoided a major injury, but this is confirmation that he was able to go out there and do something today. So that is a big development for the Chicago Bears. Even if he misses this game, which he might even be the smart thing to give him a week here. But he's obviously been fantastic with Kyler Gordon not being able to play. So definitely pumped up that he is not going to miss extended time here. And Brad Biggs seemed to hint that Luther Burden's in a good position to keep trending forward and play on Sunday. For Rome Odunze, we'll get to him in a minute. He did not practice, but to have these guys out there on the practice field was great. Travis Homer was also limited with an ankle. Drew Dahlman with an ankle and a hand injury. Not too concerned there. Probably just some wear and tear. Nashawn Wright with the hamstring, limited, so I'm not freaking, but obviously he's been really good for this team, so you want him out there. Kevin Byard with that ankle, he's a vet, so he's going to get nicked up. Eamon Ogbogbemiga with that hamstring, he missed last week, so maybe you get a special teamer back this week. And then Luke Newman, we hit you guys with the news a couple days ago that they opened his practice window. He was limited with a foot injury that got him on IR, which is where he currently sits. Now, Rome Odunze did not practice once again, as he is still dealing with that stress fracture in his foot. Now, as Ben Johnson said the other day, and we'll kind of reiterate it here, they do expect to get him back. He said, we've been working through his rehab process. He's right on track. He's going to be in a good spot. He's going to be able to help us this year. So I'm going to take Ben's word on that. I do think we'll see him at some point. Now, when is that? Is it next week against Detroit? Does something change this week for San Francisco? I doubt it for this week. Maybe you get him out there for a few snaps next week, and then you're ready to go for the playoffs, or maybe you just save him for the playoffs. Now, I'll keep saying what I've been saying. It's a stress fracture. It's not going to be 100%. It's probably not going to be 90%. But if he can, shoot up some kind of painkiller and play at 80% in the postseason, I still think it's worth having him out there because he garners attention and can obviously make some plays. So we'll see when he's back. Ben Johnson seems to think that he will be at some point, but it's not looking like it'll be this week. Okay, something to keep an eye on. TJ Edwards popped back up on the injury report. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup all year. Did not practice with what was labeled as a glute injury. So hopefully that's not overly concerning, but you just got Tremaine back. I didn't think he looked great in his first game back. TJ's finally full throttle, and now he's nicked up again, so we'll monitor this situation. But this linebacker position, they've just been shuffling all year. I mean, luckily DeMarco Jackson's been a steady hand the last several weeks, but that would certainly be a bummer if TJ's had some kind of setback and were to miss some time. But, not going to say that's the case just yet, but definitely going to keep an eye on the injury report over the next couple of days, and we'll have that all covered. Now, illness going around, 4 guys that did not practice as well. 3 of them dealt with an illness. Then Joe Thuney got a rest day. So none of these guys are hurt, so that's good news. Devin Duvernay, DeMarco Jackson, Nick McLeod dealing with an illness. Joe Thuney, rest day. It's Wednesday. It's early in the week. I'm not too concerned about a guy picking up the flu here and there. What you don't want is for it to massively spread throughout the team, right? And, you've got a third of the team dealing with some kind of sickness for this game on Sunday. So knock on wood that's not the case, but we'll see how the rest of the week goes. I will say this, in general, the Bears are getting pretty healthy. Now, we'll keep an eye on this TJ thing. We'll see how Rome progresses, but other than the guys on season-ending IR, all these guys have a chance to play, and a lot of them are already back. So, you get Burden back into the fold, hopefully Rome at some point. Ideally, this TJ thing isn't a big deal, but I do think, in general, the Bears are relatively healthy at the right time of the season. Now, a guy who's banged up for the 49ers, George Kittle, left Monday Night Football against the Colts with an ankle injury. It is not a high ankle sprain. It is a low to mid-ankle sprain per Jeremy Fowler. Kyle Shanahan spoke to the media today and said there's a chance he plays in Week 17. So I take that as, okay, whether he plays or not, he's clearly not 100% now. Kind of like the Rome Odunze thing. If he's 80%, that's still worth having him out there because George Kittle is such a difference maker and is such a kind of just explosive safety valve simultaneously for Brock Purdy. He makes this offense go in a lot of ways. He's a great blocker. He grew up a Bears fan. You think he'd want to play, but we'll keep an eye on him over the next couple of days as we get closer and closer to the weekend. All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears. Now, as we get out of here, predict the score, Bears, 49ers. Who you got winning and what is the final score going to be? Drop those score predictions down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will be here every single day. We've got our joint preview coming up with our 49ers report host, Chase Sr. So that'll be a fun video here on the channel. Don't miss that. And we'll see you guys very soon. Happy holidays.